Very good morning, students. Today we are going to learn the Indian judicial system. The Indian judicial system. Along with the legislature and the executive, the judiciary too is an important organ of the government. While the legislature makes the laws and executive implements the laws, judiciary gives justice. In this chapter, we will learn how judiciary works to give justice and thereby helps in removing injustice in a society and establishes a healthy society. But before that, let us understand why giving justice is necessary. Opinions, thoughts, perspective, beliefs, faith, and culture differ from person to person. If people are tolerant, they can avoid conflicts. But if differences of opinion are very sharp, they may lead to conflicts. They should be resolved impartially and in accordance with the laws. So, for this purpose, an unbiased judicial machinery is required. Conflict of interest may arise between individuals and the government. A decision or law made by the government may seem unfair to people and they may approach the court for justice. The government tries to implement the objectives of social justice and equality laid down in the Constitution. The judiciary, through this decision, in certain cases or through active involvement, can support the government. The court can help to bring the weaker sections of society, women, children, differently abled, and transgender into the mainstream of the society. So, when the common man benefits from the values of freedom, equality, and justice, it leads to the widening and deepening of democracy. This is necessary for the strengthening of democracy. The rule of law, which is protected by the judiciary, the law treats everyone equally. Rich, poor, forward or backward, men or women, all are equal before law, and this is expressed clearly through judicial decisions. So, judiciary helps to protect the rights of people. Conflicts are resolved in accordance with the law, and law prevents emergence of repressive and authoritarian groups and individuals. Very good morning, students. In our previous class, we have discussed in brief about the Indian judicial system. Today we are going to discuss about the structure of the judiciary and Supreme Court. Judiciary system in India. India is union of states. The center and the state constituent states have a separate legislature and executive as well. But there is one judicial system for the whole of India. There is no division of courts between the center and the constituent states. This means that judiciary in India is an integrated system. The Supreme Court is the apex court under which there are high courts, and the high courts control the district courts, following which there are lower courts which are at the bottom of this structure. Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of India, CJI, heads the Supreme Court of India. The President appoints the Chief Justice of India and other judges of Supreme Court. By convention, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is appointed as the Chief Justice. The judiciary should not work under any kind of pressure, and the independence of the judiciary is maintained so as to enable the judges to fearlessly carry out the function of giving justice. For this purpose, the Constitution has made certain provisions. Like, the Constitution lays down the eligibility criteria for the judges. A legal expert or one having served as the High Court judge or an experienced advocate is considered eligible. Judges are appointed by the President, and this helps to avoid any political pressure. Judges enjoys the security of tenure. They cannot be removed from the post for trivial reasons or for political motives. The retirement age of the judges of the Supreme Court is 65 years, while for the High Court it is 62 years. The salaries of judges are drawn from the Consolidated Fund of India. No discussion takes place in Parliament. Personal criticism cannot be made on judges for their acts and decisions. Contempt of court is considered is a punishable offence. So this is not only protects the judges from the misguided or wrongful criticism, but also preserves the independence of the judiciary. The Parliament cannot discuss the decisions of the judges. However, it has the right to remove the judges from their position through the impeachment procedure. So some of the functions of the Supreme Court we are going to discuss here. As a federal court, it has the responsibility to settle disputes between the center and the states, and states on one side and states on the other. It may also give orders to relevant authorities for protection of the fundamental rights of the citizens, and to review decrees and orders of the lower courts, and also review its own decisions. So in case the President asks for the advice of the court to understand the legal aspects in matters of public importance and provide the necessary advice. Very good morning, students. In our previous video, we have discussed about structure of the judiciary and provisions and functions of the Supreme Court. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about judicial activism and about the functions of the high courts and the branches of law in India. Judicial activism. Traditionally, the courts settle the disputes whenever they are approached for that purpose. In the last few decades, this image of the court has undergone a change and they have become increasingly active. This means that the court now seeks to fulfill the constitutional goals of justice and equality. The court has tried to provide legal protection to the marginalized sections in society, women, tribal, workers, farmers, and children. Public interest litigations have played an important role in this regard. Public interest litigation, that is PIL, which refers to litigations filed on issues of public importance by individual citizens, social organizations, or non-governmental organizations on behalf of all the people. The court thinks over the questions raised and gives its decision. Students, do you know what is meant by judicial review? See, one of the most important responsibilities which are entrusted to the Supreme Court is the protection of the Constitution. You are aware that the Constitution is the fundamental law of the nation, and the Parliament cannot pass any law that violates the Constitution. So, every act or policy made by the executive should also be consistent with the Constitution. And if any law passed by the legislature or any act of the executive violates any provision of the Constitution, then the said law or act is declared illegal and struck down by the court. And this power of the court is known as judicial review. Sometimes court had asked the candidates contesting in elections to declare their property and income details and the educational qualifications through an affidavit. So the aim was to ensure that the voters will vote on the basis of accurate information about the candidates. And is this not an attempt to make our election process more transparent, students? Yes. So there are any more such orders from the court with respect to this subject? You have to find out more information on this. Are there any more such orders from the court with respect to this subject? Hope you will find out more information on this. Now we'll discuss about the High Court. The Indian Constitution confers the Parliament with the power to establish a High Court in each constituent state in the Union. Currently, there are 24 High Courts in India. So, there is a Chief Justice along with other judges in the High Court. And all judges of the High Court are appointed by the President. So, what are the functions of the High Court? What are the functions of the High Court? To supervise and maintain control over the lower courts in its jurisdiction, authority to give orders to protect fundamental rights. The governor seeks the advice of the High Court while appointing judges in the district courts. So these are the functions of the High Courts. Now we are going to discuss about the district and the lower courts. See, these courts are at the district and tehsil level, taluka level. The people generally go to these courts, and every district court has one district judge. At the same way, we have the branches of law in India. So there are two main branches of law. First is the civil law and second is the criminal law. Civil law. What is meant by civil law? See, this law deals with the conflicts which affect or interfere with the rights of a person. For example, conflicts regarding land and property, rent agreement, divorce, etc. After filing a petition in the relevant court, the said court gives a decision. Second branch of law in India, that is criminal law. If serious crimes are dealt under the criminal law, for example, theft, robbery, dowry, murder, etc. In these cases, the first step is to file a first information report, that is FIR, with the police. And the police investigates the matter and then a petition is filed in the court. So if charges are proved, then there are provisions for severe punishment. And the Indian judiciary has made a significant contribution in the development of the country. So the common people have a lot of respect and trust in the judicial system, and the judiciary in India has protected individuals' freedom, the federal system, and the Constitution of India. So, the courts have played an important role in strengthening the democracy in India. Hope you have understood these main branches of law in India, that is, civil law and criminal law. Thank you.